See that? An impossible gap. Or maybe just a tricky obstacle. Time to get clever. Boom! Toss that hat into the air just like that. And boing! That was easy. This isn't just for you. Help your teammates escape while throwing off opponents trying to catch up. Oh, did I mention? Don't let rivals steal it. First come, first serve. Don't let rivals steal it. First come, first serve.
Welcome, stumblers. Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing today? Welcome, stumblers. Hello, hello, hello. I have somebody super special. I have the man behind the plan, the guy who does all the grinding in the back end and who knows all the information, and we're going to grind him from questions. He knows all the details about abilities and Stumble Guys. I would like to introduce you to Kirex.
Hello, everyone. Excited to be here. Honestly, first time doing the stream. Take it easy on me, please. But yeah, feel free to ask in the chat. And I think Steph is going to moderate a bit more, better than me at least.
No worries,
But
no
this
worries.
should be fun.
Hello, Kalito. Hello, gamer. Guys, make sure we have tons of things going on in chat. Everybody take a break. Be sure to drop a like on the stream. We're going to get so many likes on the stream. We're going to break records today. That is the goal. Everybody's going to have a good time. Remember to stay till the end for the big exclamation mark prize in the chat if you want to know how to win some keys and tokens. And on top of it, we will play Toximi. How are you? How is everybody? I'm glad you guys remember me. Exclamation mark win as well. Everybody's excited because Kirex says every time you win, we're going to give you 1,000 ability tokens and you're going to max out your emotes today. Max them all out. That's by the time we're done with today's stream. So Kirex, if you had to pick one map that you always play first every time you open Stumble Guys, what is that map?
Are we going for race or for elimination map?
I
That's
think
the real
ooh,
question
that's a good question.
that we're
Good question.
playing.
Good question. I say everybody also loves elimination. So let's try to go with one elimination and then we'll do one race after.
Right. For elimination, to stay away from the maps I've created, because it sounds a bit bad if I say one of my own. I would actually go for Laser Tracer, I think.
Oh my God, that's one of my favorites. Okay, I totally agree. And I love the fact that they added endless mode. I've been grinding to try to make the 4-minute mark and doesn't do well. So we're going to see how far you can get. I want to see how the pro game dev. I'm going to play with no abilities for the first round. And we're going to do 32-player custom party like we normally do. I will be showing the code on the screen, everybody, so please be patient. I'm just going to give Kirex the code. He's going to join in and show us how far he can get in Laser Tracer Endless. And after that, the winner of the game will get 1,000 ability tokens.
Server is US, right?
Yes, we're on the US server and we were on the US server for the first game and we'll server hop all the way through. So I apologize, everybody. US server. Chat, I think Kirex doesn't play ranked. Look at that. There's no symbol by his name. I see that.
Haven't played recently.
All right,
I'll be
guys,
honest.
you'll notice down below there'll be a party code. It should be popping on the screen right about now. And you can join up with the code down below. No Rocket Doom? What do you mean no Rocket Doom? You don't like Rocket Doom? There's nothing wrong with Rocket Doom.
We can play that one. But that one is one of my own making. I did that map.
Oh, we have a blast. I just want to say my team Finished third overall in 1 hour. We almost got 16 wins in 1 hour of Rocket Tomb. So I'd say I'm pretty decent. I'm pretty decent at that map. I definitely enjoy it.
Yeah, I think the fun really comes out when you're playing with people.
Yeah, especially
Really
like
fun.
if you got your own set and teams going. All right, we're gonna hit the first round, and after that, everybody, we are going to switch, and we're gonna go to EU server, and then we're gonna go to Asia or India West, and we're gonna rotate through all three. So I know everybody's gonna say it's not my right server, it's not my best ping, but we're gonna rotate through them all. Yes, so EU next, then we'll do India West as well. We only have tokens to give away. We don't have gems today. We have 1,000 ability tokens because we're pushing to talk about all the new ability balance changes in the game. Got Jordan, Kalito, Panda, AV King. Oh, man. There's so many players everywhere. I just didn't want, my goal is not to be the first to die. And then I'm happy. Not the first one out.
Beating you to it.
I feel like I always die just before the 3-minute mark. Dino, how are you? Welcome, Dino. What about chat giveaways? Well, we're gonna have some same chat giveaways for ability keys as well for those who are not playing. We are gonna have some chat giveaways, but unfortunately there will not be gems today. It will just be ability tokens. So I apologize, everybody. That's what we have to give away today. But there's a big thing of keys and prizes all at the same time. So we'll do that shortly. But every match you'll be able to get some tokens. So you'll be able... No, I was bumped. No. The next match will be EU server. And then we're going to do Asia and rinse and repeat. So we're going to play US, EU, and Asia. What's up, AV King? How are you? Welcome to the stream. So Kirex, who do you think's gonna win? We're down to about 5 players.
I'm honestly going for the shark.
I think I'm going for the silver ninja.
I mean,
ooh, but the shark is champion rank. Oh,
it's
no, we
shark, right?
into the laser. That was a good move. Go with the rank. That was a good idea. That was a good idea. I didn't play that.
I honestly went for the skin. I think the skin gives you powers.
Oh, maybe we all should be sharks. Asia's the best server? I mean...
There he goes.
No! We both were wrong. All right, platinum versus bronze. Does the grind of Stumble ranked help? Everybody type your rank in chat. Whatever rank you are, type it in chat right now. And platinum wins. X-axis says Woods Fire. You're too funny. You're too funny. All right. So we got the first map out of the way. I hope everybody is super excited. Let me get the winner of the last match. So we can make sure he gets his ability tokens. Little screen grab right here. Excellent. And there it is. You'll be the first person to win 1,000 tokens. Now we're going to be changing servers, everybody, to EU. We're going to be over to EU. So I would like to take this time. Remember, guys, we have 2 amazing maps. We have Lava Land Legendary, and we have Floorislava. So we're going to play and focus some of these 2 biggest maps. If you had to play one or the other, what is your favorite map, Kirex? Would it be Floorislava or would it be Lava Land Legendary?
I think I would go for Floorislava, just for how different it is. In the end, Lava Land, it's for the pro players that got a bit used to the normal Lava Land, right? So I will go for floorislava first, I think.
All right. So I think we start out with a round of floor is lava. Let's break that down. And did you guys have intentions when we play this map to be a map that focuses emotes? Because I noticed when we played a little bit on stream, when you get towards the end and everybody's at the top, sometimes it becomes like a random, like whoever dives or gets down to the last second. And there's a very similarity between this map, Floor is Lava, and how Lava Land Legendary plays out. Both of them, when you get to the very end, it's always like a last second dive, and whoever's on height wins the game. So was it that, or did you think that people would have, maybe it would be like Floor is Lava with emotes and you would, force people not to climb or push them off? What was the intention on that map?
Um, I think we always want to do. We kind of design it for both, right? Like we think of the strategies that come up with the use of abilities, but also of general play. So we try and just make the core experience fun, right? Because at the end, when you get new players into the game, they don't have abilities. So designing an experience based on just the abilities is not fun for everyone, right? Um, but you always want to have abilities incorporated into gameplay. So it's like a mixture of getting the experience of being able to use the abilities and have fun with them. So, for example, when we're designing maps, we measure the distances for a volleyball jump or a power jump, right? Like heights and such. But we don't count on it as the primary way to play the game. So, for example, for Floris Lava, it's mainly the core experience, but we also know of the use of the abilities and how that can help other players into winning the game, right?
All right. I'm going to invite Kirex to my friend. So maybe I can invite him. So maybe we can load into the lobbies a little bit faster and I could be friends with the dev in the game, everyone. I could be friends with the dev. All right, we're going to put the party code on screen one more time for everybody to join. Remember, we're on stumbleguys version 0.83.2 and the server is EU and you should have your lobby code right now. So, Kirex, if you only could play with one ability in Stumbleguys, only one, what would it be? What would be your one ability out of all of them? So think about it. You have 300 keys. Say if everything costs 100 keys and you only have 100 keys, what would be the emote you purchase?
Honestly, I'm going for my current favorite, which is Chop. I think Chop is the funnest because we've changed how it behaves. So now you shrink players all the time, and just like when you're actually chopped, your ability to jump higher is worse, right? So you jump less. So for example, maps like Laser Tracer, it's crazy, and you find players trying to jump over the laser, but they need to wait until they're back again so that they can jump. And I think it's the funnest because in the end the other ones are more like a ragdoll style of knocking players up, whereas this one is very unique, right?
Yeah, I feel like the recent change, I feel like previous to balance changes, when you used to use chop, every time you got hit, you almost sometimes like went flying first and then you were small. So now it's like you get shrunk and your movements like you can't jump and you're more trapped. And so it's like it's definitely a little more exciting. It's definitely one of the definitely emotes I play with. So I think that'll be really fun. Maybe we'll play some laser based maps and use the chop ability. We're going to load into this next round. Hi, Dino Gaming. Hi, Dakash. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you guys. SH Lock. I'm going to do the best I can to make as many custom parties as I can. Right now with old tournaments, we do not have any information, but I would tell everybody to spend your time grinding rank, get to the top of the leaderboard, because you never know what the rewards are. You're getting cool new letters in your name to make you stand out amongst the community for grinding ranked. So it should be amazing. Oh no. I don't never know what to do. I gotta find an area that nobody is. What is your strategy in this map? I feel like trying to find an area that nobody is always the hardest. Oh!
I think with the ability of the spin jump, it's easier. The one thing I think players don't realize as often, and it was designed by like this, is that there are some obstacles that give you a power up when you jump, right? So
Oh,
you'll
I
see, for
always
example,
wondered that because
at
that's
the
so...
base of the skin, you can see like a blue uh circle that appears, and it actually
Oh,
shows when you have a charged jump, right? So for example, the bed will always give you extra height when jumping.
no, that's so cool. I didn't notice that. I always thought of like, wow, sometimes I jump high. I'm like, I feel like I'm almost in space. I literally don't know why. Sometimes I jump high and
Oh no, you
sometimes I
stop.
don't. And now that makes a little bit more sense. Oh man. So I've never successfully made it to the top, so I don't think today is going to be my day. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for my drill.
Oh, I died.
No way. This
I
is
messed up my jump.
definitely one of my hardest maps. So you have to wait till you have a charged jump that works well. Ah, I see the
So
plan
you don't actually
here.
have to wait for it. So you always have it. So when you're
So it just
on
depends
the
what
object
piece you
that has
have
it,
where you get that jump.
yeah, precisely. So for example, the bed is one that always has it. I think also the sofa is one that gives the higher jump. So yeah, that's one of the strats. Like if you look at the floor
I
and at your
totally
character,
didn't know that.
you can
That
always see.
is so cool to know. No! I'm panicking. I'm panicking. The lava's coming! I don't know what to do.
There's already players
They're probably already
on
at
the
the top. They're
Volleyball. Yeah.
so good,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I am slow and methodical. I think this is literally the first time I even make. No! That would have been the first time I made it to the top. No! Don't jump! Don't hurt me! No! No! Oh, I'm done for. No! I'm moving. If I don't get my ability. No! I was so close. All right. Its axis is all the way at the top. This is when it just gets absolute insane. You have everything spinning. The tiles are leaving. People tell me a good strategy is to leave things underneath so you can go back down and get different items. Some people,
Sure,
that's what they've
strat,
said. There's like,
yeah.
oh, if you don't go all the way up and like you can come back down and get different items. What is the max height? Oh! He's too good. He's too good. It's access. You're too good. Thank you so much for playing. Guys, that's a feller Gold creator. Makes amazing content. Go check him out on his YouTube channel. GG's, you are amazing at the floor is lava. I am not so good, but I almost made it to the top. All right, you know what time everybody may not like. Actually, before we change, we probably should stay on the same elimination style map. And we do one more round. Then when we change servers, maybe we go with some race maps. And yes, don't worry, we will play Block Dash. I promise everyone, there's no way you could have a stream without playing Block Dash.
Right, I think I accepted your invite.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we're gonna do what you want to try Lava Land Legendary or another Floor is Lava. What would you like to play?
We can keep switching between the two.
All right, awesome. So we just did Floor is Lava, so we should try Lava Land Legendary, and let's try the Spatula. So what are your thoughts on this new Spatula ability? I feel like I was a fan and I was loving the balance changes, but I was hating the fact because I'm not used to being hit behind walls and not knowing where it's coming from. So like the reach was really crazy and now I felt like it's come down. So it seems like I've incorporated it more into my gameplay now, but I notice when I'm spectating or watching, everybody's clutching and then all of a sudden you die and you're like, where'd I die from? And somebody hits you from like on the other side of the wall. So it's so unexpected. So it's like another mechanic to always like you're just never safe anymore. Even if you think you have a clutch in the bag, you're just never safe. So what are your thoughts on this ability?
That's one we're taking a look at because of course we understand some of these dynamics happen more in lobbies where more emotes are used. Um, and we think it's something to address probably in the potential future. In
I
the end,
invited you as
Spatula is
well.
meant to be. Oh,
Oh, that might have been my fault. Guys, we
okay,
have
I
to
didn't
leave the
receive
last
the
spot for
invite.
Kirex. We have to leave the last spot for Kirex. He's gonna hop in now. All right, there we go.
There you are.
We're
I'm in.
ready to go. It's my fault. I should have
So,
hit code. I'm sorry to interrupt.
like the idea of Spatula, right? In the end, it's that it's an easier version of Punch. So when we're looking at abilities, we try and look out for a pair. So, for example, Spatula might be for the newer players that it takes less skill to aim the ability because he hits in a wider area and a wider range. But therefore, the kick force should be lower, right? You shouldn't be hit as much as you get hit with the punch. So we're trying to find it in a good state. Though the uniqueness out of being able to hit behind walls is something also very interesting, right? Like in the end, we want the gameplay to be varied, and we want every ability to feel unique, so that players choose what they prefer, right? Because the spatula gives you that ability to hit behind walls, but not every level has walls, right? So even though in levels that you might take advantage of this ability, are really good, there are others where the difference might not be that noticeable, right? So
Mm.
obviously we're listening to community, listening to you guys. We read the comments. We take care into trying to make the best balanced state out of the game, right? Um, so I would say that right now.
I mean, that, in a retrospect, I have a friend who recently started stumbling with us, and he has no abilities. And he's like, "What do I get first?" And I'm like, I used to tell everybody to get the punch first, but the punch requires like aiming. You know what I mean? So like the punch, you have to be like either a direct contact. It's kind of easy to miss. Whereas spatula, you know, for a newer player, he can use that emote and easily, no problem, will have, you know, hit somebody without much effort. So I see what you mean by, making an emote that's easier for everyone to play with. So it's definitely 100%, I think, is the truth that that's an easier emote to use as opposed to punch. Punch, you need to be a little bit more skillful. Hi, XNZ Gaming. How are you? How are you, AMS? Congratulations, 411 on 1,000 ability tokens. Dakesh, I will try to get you in the lobby as well. I understand I kicked 2 people. I forgot to hide the code. I didn't want to send everybody out. It would be easier to get 2 more people back in. So I apologize, and I will get you guys into the next lobby ahead of time, and it will be good. I promise. So, Dakesh, type your stumble name. I'll add you, and I'll get you into the party, so next time you will not have to wait. Is that okay? And we're back to switching through servers again. We're going to move over to North America. I will not be giving out any mods on the channel. Hi, David. How are you? Otter, how are you? It says message retracted. I'm not getting your name, Dakesh. Got it. Okay. There we go. So I'm going to add you and I will get you into the lobby and as well as the other person. I'm doing well. I am having fun playing with Kirex. He's a game designer of stumbleguys. And we're going through some of the ability changes. So let's talk about the ball. Let's talk about the ball, especially since we're going to get into race maps. Let's talk about the ball ability.
Yeah. Um. Well, Vol is one of the most controversial ones, and we know. I think we created a very powerful emote, and we didn't address it very early on when we were balancing it. In the end, volleyball is an emote to gain speed, gain jump, and get that advantage, especially in race maps, right? But it was performing too well in elimination maps because it was giving you the ability to run faster, to jump, to hit other players. So in the end, it was one emote to win them all, right? It was like the overpowered main character in an anime. It did too much. And what we want is to have different abilities to get there, right? Like a mixture of, hey, now I can, if I want to attack, I'll use one of my offensive emotes. If I want to defend, I'll use one of the defensive emotes. If I want to go faster in a race map, I'll use one of the mobility emotes, right? So what we aimed, what we were aiming is to create, to balance it more into the state where it's now a fully focused mobility emote. Um, and it's doing that really well. Um, we might have shortened the cooldown or the duration a bit too much. Um, you guys can trust us. We're actually actively listening into this, so we're trying to take care of. We want it to be fun, right? But we also want it to be balanced, and we don't want one ability to do everything. That's the main focus here. Like if you were playing paper, rock, and scissors, that's the kind of balance you want to aim for, right?
Yeah, and I feel like the community posts and they all say what they want. And what's good about it is that you're actually listening. The abilities could have been left the same way and no changes, and everybody would have still kept playing. So the fact that you guys went above and beyond to try to balance the emotes and try to get the gameplay better, I think the gameplay is amazingly better for 32 player lobbies. So I think it's definitely a benefit, to be able to now play with more abilities and create more custom game types, because sometimes there's only so many you can do that you can come up with different type of games. So I feel like now we're having more ability choices. You're able to come up with different kind of combinations of different maps that have a lot more fun. So I think it's all for the better personally.
Yeah, 100%. Like
So maybe
also
smaller
since
lobbies, are not, very weren't so bad, but now 32 player lobbies are more fun. And I feel like the game of Stumble Guys was designed, and the beauty of it to me is being able to play with so many players at once.
mm, yeah, I agree. And in the end, when we did the change over the summer to make abilities grindable rather than just purchased, we see so many abilities, especially in ranked, which is meant to be a very competitive scenery. But we're kind of missing that mark if one ability determines how much you can climb inside of the ladder, right? So we want to find that state where grinding towards your abilities feels good, feels refreshing, and you get an advantage for it. Uh, but you shouldn't dominate just with one, right? We want it to be the combo, and we also want players to explore different play styles.
So if we're gonna talk about combos, you know what that brings up most of all the most interesting stuff with combos is that everybody was really loving the fact that you can hide and be invisible and then punch almost at the same time. We gotta talk about it. Now you can't do it. Was that, a plus, or is that something you guys had to fix or never wanted to happen? Like, what was the deal with, being able to punch and be invisible pretty much, and you couldn't even see where it was coming from?
Yeah, in the end, it's a bit like the volleyball change, right? We want invisibility to be a defensive mechanism, but if you can use it to attack whilst the other players cannot avoid it, then it becomes an offensive one, right? Like it allows you to attack with a lot of safety. Um, so the aim was there just to remove the combo. We still want you to be invisible. We want you to be able to hide and move away from the other players, but we don't want you to be able to use that combo because really it leaves no room for outplay for players.
Ah, awesome, awesome, awesome. Guys, we will be changing the servers constantly. We spoke about it before. The first round, we're going to do US, then we're going to do EU, and then we'll do Asia. They seem to be the three most popular servers. So, unfortunately, I can't say what map your server will be on at the current time, but you have to change servers to make the gameplay better for everybody, not just one server as only. So, we'll be cycling through each time. If you guys have any questions you have for Kirex, you can drop them in chat, and I will try to see if I can relay the message to him, and we can go through and maybe see if any questions you guys may have for him.
think I saw one earlier that was asking about my accent. I'm Spanish. I think it's noticeable if you know Spanish people, or the Spanish accent. It's very recognizable. Um, and sadly, no, I cannot leak the next map. I'm sorry, guys.
Can we even? I wonder if we can get him to say if it's going to be race or elim. My best guess is the next map's going to be a race map, guys. You heard it here first. February 7th, 2025. Next map's going to be race. All right, now everybody, you have to change your servers once again. Please remember to change your servers once again. We're going over to EU servers. I have to get Nub in. I had kicked 2 people. I've already made it better for the 1 person, and I'm going to get the 2nd person. And what race map would you like to try?
Honestly, I don't mind any. I like them a lot.
Everybody hates
I
me
played them
because my
quite a lot.
favorite race map is Stumble Trouble. They were like, why do you like that map? That map is so not good. And I'm like, I love Stumble Trouble. Like it's my favorite race map. I have no why. I have no idea why, but it's definitely my favorite. Does everybody in chat? I'm scared to ask, but would you guys mind playing Stumble Trouble?
We can play it. We
Yeah?
can play 100%.
All right.
Yeah,
So
I
we'll
I have a
play
question
Stumble
for you,
Trouble one
Steph.
time. Okay?
I have one for you.
Oh,
Have
I'm
you managed
excited.
to complete Stumble Up too?
Have I managed to complete Stumble Up 2? I'm going to say I got to the very, very end. I did not complete Stumble Up 2. I got to the very end. I literally do not stream Stumble Up because it completely makes me rage. And they're like, Step, are you a little angry? I'm like, no. I love playing Stumble Guys, and I'm just ripping my hair out. So I came into myself that we will only play Stumble Up off stream because of the fact that I normally rage. I do like the very first one. The first one was amazing. Stumble Up 2, I actually think was easier. So I feel like most people were like they were excited for the new Stumble Up, but I didn't think they were able to finish it. I don't know if they were just so used to Stumble Up now from the first one. I feel like the second one came out and 1, 2, 3, I feel like everybody had it beat, no problem. So, what's your best time of Stumble Up 2?
Oof, I have a very good time on that one because I designed the map. So that one's
Oh!
mine. And I know a lot of secrets that players might have missed.
Ooh,
I've
that
played it for a lot of hours.
I can only imagine. I mean, because I struggled a lot with the first one. And so when I played the second one, I don't know if it was because I had experience for the first one, but I enjoyed the second one more than the first one. I don't know because maybe I didn't rage as much, but I got to the very end and within a few sittings, and I thought it was just a definite. So comment in chat, guys. Do you like everybody comment 1 if you like Stumble Up the original, or comment 2 if you like the version 2 of Stumble Up? And when are we getting Stumble Up 3? Like there has to be another one. I think we definitely need to have one per year. It must take so long to design, but I think one per year. I see a lot of 2s. It's a split. I actually think for a new Stumbler, I think the second one is way easier personally.
Actually designed to do that, right? So Stumble Up 1, it focused more on using toys in a different way, which was something really fun in the end, being able to use, for example, the hammers into climbing, which is really fun. But what we tried to do in Stumble Up 2 was let's make players practice their basic movement. Let's make them do tighter jumps. Not a lot of moving platforms, if any. Just get a use of going into the dive position. So really, we created it as if it was a workshop to to improve inside of the game, right? Because after
Wow.
playing a Stumble Up 2 for a lot of times, you get better at the game because you get more used into those tight, jumping in the last second so you can get the best distance. Um, it's something fun, and I think we also managed to get into a sweet spot where falling in Stumble Up 2 doesn't mean you immediately die. Because I think in Stumble Up 1, once you fell, you
Oh
were
my
almost pinned
God.
for
I,
a
I
lot of
I I
times.
knew it because I'm telling you, you hit the nail on the coffin because I mean, usually in Stumble Up 1, you would fall, I would literally get up and go get something to drink or go for a walk. You knew there was no saving it. And like the first time I fell in Stumble Up 2, I'm like, wait, I'm not at the bottom? Or I can save it? SBK, I added you because I kicked you from the party, and once we're friends, I'm able to invite you into the party ahead of time. So that is why I friend requested you because I was upset. Needed to apologize for kicking you from the party, and now once we're friends, I can get you into the party ahead of time. So those are the two people I kicked. So I get both those people, SBK and Dakish. I got you guys both back into the lobby ahead of time, so that way, we're even now. I kicked you and I put you into the next game. So Kirex, did you guys intentionally make punch harder? Because I noticed, I feel like I'm not getting super punched nowhere near as much.
We did.
I'm
We
gonna say I actually appreciate it. No.
we reduced a bit the angle you actually get hit by, so the range is still the same, but it should be harder to aim it, right? Because again, we want it to be more of like a precision tool rather than the wide area it was covering.
Okay, totally makes
So
sense
yeah,
because now
that
that you
one was
have the
intentional.
ease of spatula, and then so you have the no tool of punch being a little bit more accurate, and then you have chop, which is another way to attack again. So now I feel like the separation of abilities is way better now. I feel like you can pick whichever one you like using the most, whatever you feel the most comfortable with, the one that's easier to use. Or, if you're a beginning player and you're not so skilled and you can't get the punch to stick, spatula can easily cause some trouble.
Yeah, that's precisely it.
May I
In the
ask
end,
what
that's
were
what
your thoughts
we're
on
striving
with the
to.
cooldown of the emotes? I noticed like when I used to play, I was like, okay, I could use one. I use my chop for like a defensive emote. So once I was punched, I would use my chop at the same time, and I felt like my punch became available sooner to strike again. Now I feel like with the difference of cooldowns, it's like you have to pick which one you use because odds are you're not going to get anything back in time. So I feel like the effect of getting comboed is kind of like a little bit, you have to be really strategic and when to save your emotes because if you emote, somebody else is going to punch you and there's nothing you can do. You're just waiting for your emote to come back. So can we talk a little bit about cooldown and how you decided on which abilities needed what kind of cooldown?
Yeah, absolutely. Also, we launched the patch notes, so you can check all the details there. Went a bit into explaining the design ideas behind it. So one of the main changes is that we introduced the global cooldown between all emotes into 5 seconds. So before you could use an ability every 3 seconds, but now you can only use it every five, and it was precisely for what you were saying, that we want it to be more strategic, right? In the end, if you can just use an emote and it doesn't give you a lot of punishment for using it, and especially for failing its use, um, it felt like players could just spam it. And especially if you had several emotes, uh, that would mean that you would be constantly cycling between all of them. So really, every 3 seconds, you would be attacking someone, and that misses a bit the mark of the core experience we want in Stumble Guys, right? We want it to be more about the jumping, the stumbling, the avoiding, but abilities was making it more of a war zone, right? Like the actual brawler map that we have now in the
Yeah.
game. So the main idea was that it also increased the time that it takes in at the beginning of a match to actually be able to use emotes, so players are able to distance themselves, especially in elimination maps. They can go into safer areas before they're gonna be attacked. Um, And that's the main purpose of the change, right? Just to make the emotes more impactful, but don't make them so dominant of the experience.
I think you guys hit the nail on the coffin with that. Was there ever a idea to make different cooldowns for different abilities? Like, say, the stronger the emote would have a slower cooldown to stop people from using it, and then maybe an emote that is not as aggressive or strong would have a shorter cooldown. Or was it better
Yeah,
thought to just do one standard cooldown amongst everything?
no. So one thing is the cooldown between the different abilities, and then you have the cooldown for the ability itself, right? Those are different. So you, for example, see always that another ability becomes available before you're able to use the ability you just used. However, we do have that difference into how much cooldown each ability has due to its power. So when you're creating very complex mechanics inside, for example, the hat ability or the power jump, which are very clutch and very useful, we want it to be used in a moment where you desperately need it. We don't want it to become the main strategy to follow. So if we increase the cooldown, we can allow the ability to be very strong and very fun without abusing its power.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. A lot of information there, but I unpacked it all, and I think it's actually you hit the nail on the coffin towards any of these. I mean, balancing emotes, I feel like something. Do you guys do you guys have an idea where you would think that makes schedule of how like you would be checking on these emotes? I know balancing emotes is never going to be something that's easy, but do you guys think that's something that you'd be doing like maybe twice a year, once a year, or how often do you think this balancing would take place?
So in the end, we don't have a right schedule. It's more of a check on health on the game, right? And if we don't have a balance state in the game, we need to fix it. If we have a balanced state and there's no issues, then we can wait into approaching new ideas. So the time, I wouldn't say there's any specific to be expected, but do realize that we are listening and we are trying to figure out the best state for the game. And if we hear the community wide and clear about an opinion or a change that is needed, we will make that our top priority into creating the most balanced experience we can so that you have the most fun possible.
Well, that's the nail right on the coffin. So I feel like, if people are making notice, like remember, we always have the stumbleguys.com Discord, we have the Red Edit. There's so many ways. Hi, Mandala. Hello, hello, hello. So I feel like there's so many ways to contact, Stumble Guys. I feel like you are able to hear from the community with between Discord and Reddit and emails, and there's so much information there. You guys can hear what the stumblers want and try to make changes. And as you feel, there's more need to change, they'll implement a change. But if you don't, then you may not get so much. GK,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm doing my best. I'm not the best stumbler.
Yeah, I have to say there that honestly we have an amazing community team. I think if players or the viewers are engaged in the discords and everything, they probably know who they are. But our mods do the best to communicate their opinions and their complaints or their suggestions as well, of things to do next. So take advantage that we have such a talented crew, and tell them honestly the more. Um, we don't feel like we own the game. We feel like this game is its community, and if the community is happy, we have a good game. If the community is not happy, we don't have a good game, and we need to work on it, right?
I
So
I think that's
again,
very
take
well. Like I
advantage of
said,
that.
all these resources are what makes, are what makes it fun. I feel like when you guys if you guys want it more fun, you comment, you say what's wrong with it. But I think, don't get me wrong, stumblers are very vocal. When they don't like something, you'll hear it. 'Cause, I mean, there's ups and there's downs, but I feel like Stumble Guys, with all the updates, they're always trying to make the game better. So something might happen, you might not things might not go as they planned. Sometimes, it's good, and then sometimes it's bad. Sometimes, changes happen to the game that weren't even, designed to happen. Sometimes I feel like you do things and it's like this wasn't what we expected to happen, but it could be a love thing and it could be a hate thing. Like it's just a way, game designing and things happen to be work. You try for the best and then something else happens. And a good question is, how often do you play mobile or do you play PC? And how often do you play both? Do you test both experiences, or do you really only test the game on what input you feel the most comfortable with?
So I play on mobile. Like right now, I'm playing on mobile. I prefer to have it there. But when I'm working and I'm creating levels inside the engine and I'm testing things out, I do it completely on my laptop. So we work on our computers and we're all the time play testing what we're creating. So before you guys even see anything, we are playing versions of the game with just cubes, no textures, no nothing, just testing the tempo, the pacing of the levels, and we're trying to make sure it's the most balanced state. Then obviously we start dressing it up and making it look good, and that's the version you guys see. But we see the levels very early on, right? Um, and that I do in the computer. But
Yeah.
I try and find the mix. I like the laptop. I like the honestly in the mobile. I like that I'm more stressed. I don't know why. I like the pressure of seeing a bit less. It's a bit weird, but I prefer having that feeling of having to react faster, having to move the camera, and not being able to jump maybe at the same time. I don't know. I'm a bit of a hardcore gamer. I'm very competitive in that sense, and I just prefer making things complicated for myself.
I mean, I think the first time I played on my phone, we're going back to US server, everyone. We're going back to US server for the next one, and we're gonna bring in some block dash teams. What we'll do is we'll do block dash theme based maps here. So we'll do block dash teams, which is probably, the best way to play. Maybe if you're not partnered with the best teammate, your teammate can get you into the next round. So I do love that feature of block dash teams. I feel like if you're a new player to the game, it's a definite way to start, especially if you don't have abilities. So block dash teams, I think, is very, awesome. And then we'll do a second round of maybe just either block dash classic or block dash remastered or block dash legendary, so that we have one final winner. So that works pretty good. And I think we will try out punch this time. I think we'll try out punch. But you know what? I kind of do like kick now. Kick went through some major ability changes, and I swear, I feel like the hardcore was always like punch, kick, banana. Punch, kick, banana. I mean, from when we started years ago, we always played punch, kick, banana. We never really played hug too much, so we'll probably get in touch with hug. But I stopped playing with kick for so long. Now to play with kick again is a lot of fun. So I think we do punch, kick. And if you're okay with that, and I'll invite you to that party, and we'll talk a little bit about what happened with kick, as we spoke about punch. So let's talk about kick or slide, whichever way you guys like to call it.
I call it kick. Guess what you do is kick people more often than you do the sliding. I think it's more used to attack rather than just movement. Unless it's block dash, right?
Yeah.
Um, So the main thing we found with Kick was just that we went a bit over when creating the special upgrade when you get it to max level. We think it's very fun, but it was running for longer than even the cooldown. So if you were chased by just one player with Kick, you would be constantly slippery, which is not a fun experience into the game, right?
Yeah.
But we do think it's fun knocking players up. Um, doesn't often get you eliminated as much as, for example, a punch that actually throws you forward. Um, so it's in a good state.
One
And
of our creators, It's Access, says what they says that what we're on the I guess the release the beta of Stumbleguys 83.5 is in beta. So a couple people have been loading in and playing that and testing out new things. He wants to know, what version are you playing? Like what version are you up to? If we're only on 8.3 beta, what version are you playing?
so we have a lot of versions in the game, and we work a lot in advance. sometimes maps get a long time to actually get developed. So you might be talking about development that is 4 months, for example. So you can add add the sum of that into which version we're working on. Uh, Me, I'm working specifically on 86 right now.
Wow, that
Cannot
far in
announce
advance.
what's coming for that one, but we have a very big roster of designers, artists, and coders. So we have a lot of teams working on the different um, versions, right?
You guys
And I
heard it
was
right
gonna
over
tell
there in
you
chat
that
from the bot. Every custom party gets 1,000 ability tokens. We're talking with Kirex, the game designer of Stumbleguys, and we're figuring out what he did with all these ability emotes to balance them in the game. So that's what we're doing, and we're giving out 1,000 ability tokens for you to upgrade whatever abilities you have. So that's what we're doing here today. I hope you guys all enjoy that. And any questions you could have, just put them in chat and we'll figure out what we like the best. And we're playing Stumbleguys. We're having fun. Probably the two best things I like to do. I like to, chat with my community. I love to live stream. I love to play Stumbleguys. And now we get some inside scoops from the designer itself. It must be so hard to get a whole team, together to have every piece of the puzzle work between the designing of the game and the graphics and, like I said, sometimes you said you play Stumbleguys with no textures. I mean, that must be so smooth to play with no textures. Like, lag must not be existent. It must be so good.
you would expect that's the case, but you also face fun when, for example, we miss out a collision. So sometimes we pop in a lobby and one of the platforms you cannot actually land on top of, and you immediately die just by touching it. So again, it's a lot of fun. It's a very fun job. We try and get have the most fun, but also create the most fun. Um, but obviously performance is something we work on. Getting the right visuals is something we work on, and honestly aligning with the team. I think we have a pretty good team. We all strive for the same goal, and it's very easy to work when everyone's motivated towards the same goal. So I wouldn't say it's a struggle. I think it's just fun.
Yeah. Toximi, I will reach out. I thought he took care of those. It's usually 24 to 48 hours. There's having some chat giveaways right over there. You can see from the Stumble Guys. We're doing chat giveaways right over there. He says post your name. You got 1,000 ability tokens. So there's chat giveaways going on in the stream. Thank you to the moderators for doing that. You guys helping out with the chat giveaways is so much fun. I'm also, if you win the custom party, I'm taking your picture of your Stumble name so we can get you more ability tokens. Do you ever think there'll be a mode, Kyrex? This one's for you. Do you ever think there'll be a mode or there'll be no maxed abilities? Like everything will be basic. Like, would you ever think that would be a mode that you'd actually play as an option? Like just regular, standard, all emotes at like level 3. Do you ever think that would be an option? I feel like for new stumblers, that would be huge for them. If like, cause when you play against somebody with maxed out abilities and play with somebody who doesn't have that, the free to play community is always like, oh man, I mean, even if you're free to play in Stumble Guys, I feel like you should always have an emote. You'll get one from playing. There's a Stumble Pass that's free. You just play and then you'll be able to get emotes and abilities. You'll be able to require gems and everything and skins. There are free to play players that are not there's always an available option to get something from the game. That's why I like about Stumble Guys. There's always something. You don't always have to pay for it. There's always a free option. There's always free skins, free gems, giveaways. I do them on my stream. So I feel like still, if you had a new stumbler and they don't have as many maxed out emotes as someone who's been playing for a very long time, would there ever be a mode that you guys would have that maybe be all abilities at, 1 or 3 or whatever you think is the balance?
It's something we might try in the future. I cannot confirm any of this, but for example, we've been trying out creating events without emotes. And that version has been well received by some players. Again, you also have to bear in mind we have such a big amount of players and we love our community. But the state of the community, because it's so big, it's in a very different position, right? Some players don't remember the OG levels, or they never played them, or for example, when they came into the game, abilities was already there, right? So finding something that works for everyone, it's complicated in that sense. So I think getting it into events where players can just choose to play it and see the description of what they're going to be playing it is something really fun and an available option to create this kind of experiences.
Hi, Chris. Hi, everyone. Sorry if I haven't been changing the servers as much. I've been giving so many questions out to Kirex because I know we all have so many things that we want to talk about the game and everything like that. So we're going to go to EU server. We'll play EU server, and then we're going to get into Asia, and we'll do one on Asia, and we'll do one on India West. So we'll do both of those. So, and then after that, we're going to go back through and play some Lava Land Legendary and some more floorislava, because that is a new map. We want to talk about that in the game. I think I'm actually getting better at it by forcing myself to play it. So we're going to do one on EU, then we're going to do we'll do the Asia server, and then we'll do India West. Old abilities return. I don't think old abilities will return. Personally, I don't think I want old abilities to return. I feel like by playing the game as long as I've been playing, I like the fact that you do have advantages, you know, from playing so long. Like when the abilities came, I already had almost all the abilities unlocked. So when I migrated over, it was like, okay, I have all I gotta do is upgrade now. So
Yeah, let me quickly answer. I've been receiving the question of if there's any workshop update coming soon. I'm not allowed to say anything, but again, if this is a request from the community, we are always listening and we are willing to go forward making improvements that are needed to improve the game. So again, use the Discord channels to give your feedback, suggestions, or the ideas to create this kind of uh, features or things that may be needed for the game.
all right, Kari, and get Kirex in the lobby. Once he's in the lobby, I'll show the code. Code coming in 5 seconds, everybody. Remember, we're on the EU server. Make sure you're on EU, as well as if you have Discord and you're not in the stumbleguys Discord, link is in the chat. So be sure to join the stumbleguys Discord server. And our lobby code is 520762. So be sure to join up there and sign up for the Discord. I mean, that's how you want, if you want to find people to play with, you want to know what giveaways are happening, what updates of the game are changing, anything you want to know about Stumbleguys, it always seems to be in that Discord. So if you have Discord, be sure to join up that Discord.
Yeah, make sure like you can bet that the devs and people working on the game, we are reading it, so we know. But you also have to realize the amount of players we have in the game. So um, sometimes things get a bit cluttered, or they fall a bit behind if the volume of requests is not as high. But we are always trying out and looking out into your feedback, right? I was gonna ask you, Steph, what do you think about the teams? And this is a tricky one because I designed all the versions of teams for the
Oh
game. So
my
both the
God.
race and the elimination ones.
I would consider you being my favorite person in the whole entire world of Stumbleguys now. Now knowing that information. I am a live streamer and stream Stumbleguys 5 days a week, 5 out of 7 days. I'm telling you, when you have 31 players trying to just kill you in the lobby, you enjoying the game becomes a little bit not as much fun. So by playing team levels, it allows me to integrate with chat. If I'm happen to not be paying attention, someone can bring me back. I mean, I think it's probably the only mode. If I stream for 3 hours, I play teams for 2 hours. So and then by moving over to race map teams made that even more fun. The only thing I would say, my only gripe about teams would be, if I had to pick something and just play devil's advocate, it would be that I feel like I get the same player often. Like whoever I get as long as I do multiple lobbies and they're in, they always seem to be my teammate. So as a streamer perspective, everybody wants to play with you. So I feel like if there was a way to change how you get a teammate, sometimes I restart my game and I may get a new teammate and I still don't. So that's probably my only gripe about it, but I play teams on every levels, and the number one question I'll ask you after you give me some feedback on what's going on with these teams and how you designed it. Those orbs are amazing. They updated Laser Tracer to have orbs with delay so you can actually come back. We saw them, I think, released in Stumble Rumble, I think, is when we saw that delayed orb where you have like some time before anything happens. So I'm telling you, teams maps, I think, are the number one thing to play for any streamer.
What you were telling about the actual making of the teams, it's one of the main things we've been receiving as a feedback. Because I think also Stumbleguys is very fun to play with people, right? Especially when you're a content creator. But if you're trying to play with friends, um, I get it often because in my group of friends, I'm one of the best players, obviously, because I play the game every single day. Um, so if we're not playing teams, I don't get invited into the lobbies, right? So that's why I came up with the idea of creating this version where playing with friends is actually beneficial. So I get invited into play with my own friends now again, rather than just being avoided, right?
I can see that everybody's like, you load in and they're like, I have Kirex on my team. Yes, I'm probably gonna win, or he can bring me back a million times. I'm like, I bet
The
you.
play sessions in the company are pretty much like that. But yeah, I think it's a feature that we might look into it. The ability to maybe make it more random or possibly choose is very hard to create these kind of features because it involves a lot of work. And that also puts behind other features and initiatives we're secretly working on. Um, but it is something we might consider in the future to work on. So again, if this gains traction and we see it's very popular request from the community, again, we strive to make the best state of the game for the community. So the community is asking for this, we will look into it.
All
But
right.
also bear in mind that development takes long, right?
I
So,
could totally understand.
um,
Totally understand everything. Hey, here's a question. I've been wondering, do you guys plan on making a feature in custom parties where you choose the level abilities you can have? I actually think, I mean, with the balance changes always changing, I definitely think, that might be an option, but I feel like they keep making the abilities and balancing them. I think their goal is to hopefully be able to play with all abilities and not have to turn them on. So I'm assuming that would, always be the goal. Be able to play with whatever abilities and have everything turned on, because if you're a new person, you may only have lightning, and if it's not balanced and no one turns it on, you never get to use the emotes. What's the point of having 13, 10, 12 emotes if you only get to use 3? So I feel like the balancing is the most important. But I thought that an option where all abilities are like level 2 or something like that would be pretty cool. So maybe there will never be as aggressive.
yeah, I think in the end it's more of the question if you want to use abilities or not inside the custom party, which you can obviously toggle on or off and choose the abilities you're allowed to use. Um, then the actual setting the level for the ability as of now, because you have the means to disable them or play with them, and we are striving to make them into balanced state. We don't think it's that necessary right now. But again, and I repeat to you guys, we are waiting for that feedback. So if you think it's important, please mention it on the Discords. And I'm sure our moderators will make it noticeable for us.
Don't roast my drawing. I gotta make sure that you want to. Oh, all right. So if I had to have a question of my own, maybe a request of my own, I feel like this is the one I would love as a streamer. I think people would look for Stumble streams and it could help grow the community. What I want is the ability of maybe even if content creators would get to have it and we can play with our communities, is I love teams so much. I always want to play squad version of teams, and I can never do that. So whenever there's an event, I always like cycle through like, are they making block dash squads? I love playing teams of 4, and I'm always like, I wish we could host that. If creators could host, Block Dash in squads, I feel like it would be like a tremendous thing that make people want to go play with other people or look for streamers to play and help, boost the level of all our content creators by providing them modes of the game that maybe not are in the game, but maybe they're not available to everyone. So like when we have floorislava and it's not in game or in an event, people who want to play the new map look for streamers playing the map.
Something definitely we might take a look in the future, or we might be taking a look right now. We don't know. We don't know. But again, we know of disabilities. We know what we want and the kind of experiences we want from the communities. So again, we'll work towards that goal where both creating content and also creating that bridge between content creators and their communities to play together and to enjoy themselves playing the game together is the most accessible and easier way we can.
All right, we're going to go to Asia servers, everyone. We're going to go to Asia servers. We're going to do one on Asia and one on India West. So we're going to stay over here for 2 more custom parties. And we're going to stay with the Block Dash team theme. And then we'll move over to Lava Land Legendary and some more floorislava. So let's pop on over. Let's all switch your servers to Asia. And we did Block Dash Teams, and then we did Block Dash Remastered, which was, I think, a well addition to the game. I also love Block Dash Rush in Teams mode. That was always lots of fun. Lava Land Legendary was always lots of fun. So I think
Do one step, we can actually play the first map I ever created for the game, which was Rush Hour.
No way. Wow. I think
that was my first map.
That was your first map. Oh my God. I think people love Rush Hour. I mean, I love Rush Hour, that endless mode that always gives a winner. I feel like the new legendary mode of Rush Hour with so many things going on. I feel like that mode made it Rush Hour not go to time. I feel like sometimes you were like, oh, you're waiting. Rush Hour's got to go to time. We didn't put the right abilities. But now when they made the legendary mode, it was like, there's no way. There's no way. It never goes to time anymore. There's things, there's sprayers, there's TNT, like different size cards. I'm like, it became like just absolutely insane. We'll do one on Asia with emotes, and then we'll do another one with no emotes. But I mean, if you play Block Dash with no emotes, if I put Laser Dash Legendary as the second map, then it will end. But depending on whatever you put for the first second map, it might be an issue and it'll just go to time. So I'll do Block Dash Classic since this one has emotes, and then we'll do Laser Dash Legendary because that one's probably not going to go to time. My goal is to always have a winner. So we're doing emotes. We did Punch and we did Kick. I think we maybe talk about a little bit about this new hat ability. Do you have any thoughts on the new hat ability?
I think it's really fun, to be honest. It allows you to create a platform for yourself, which in some occasions and in some maps it might be extremely useful. I think especially in Tilefall is one of the best abilities we have. Maybe Volleyball is a bit better, but I think it's quite unique. I think it's fun to use, and there's also some combos that you can do with it that are just fun, right?
I feel like by that hat ability, I feel like there's an area of stumbleguys tricks and their community behind every trick and everything they can pull off. So I feel like providing them this emote has made them like think of every cool combination they could achieve. And I feel like they're just something that they definitely love. Like, this is a new ability that can make us create new things. And I feel like every time I'm scrolling through YouTube Shorts and I'm like looking at what they've done, I always type in like, hat hop emote or hat ability or whatever in YouTube, and I'm like, I see what they've been creating, and I'm like, oh my god, this is insane. Thank you guys on stumbleguys for over there, and they're having some votes in the chat. Vote your favorite ability, and we're gonna start putting things on a tier as well. That should be coming up shortly. We're gonna ask Kirex to pick one, I'm gonna pick one, and we're gonna try to rate some of the new abilities, S being I think the best and C being towards the bottom. So A, B, and C. So you guys rate them in the chat, and we're going to rate them coming up shortly right after this next 2 custom parties. I'm trying to think of what ability did we not talk about. I feel like we talk a little bit about, I noticed how Kick and Banana both had a slippery effect, right? But now after the new balance update, they don't feel the same. Like Banana feels kind of how Kick was originally, and Kick feels like a little more toned down. So what were your thoughts there?
Banana actually didn't receive a change. So it was only Kick. In Kick we decreased the duration of the slippery effect. But Banana should be behaving the same.
Okay.
We didn't intend to it. I think the fun part about Banana is that because it's a throwable, I think throwables have this state where because you're able to avoid them and see them from the distance, they can be more powerful than some abilities, right?
That totally makes sense.
Because in the end, what we want is players to be able to play against the abilities. We don't want just the lack of not having them or having them max to mean you're gonna win the game. We want it to be a tool that allows you to gain a competitive edge, because otherwise there would be no reason to get them, and we like that part. But we also need to make it in a sort of way where you can still play the game and enjoying if you don't have abilities, right?
I'm telling you, whoever made that double jump emote has become my best friend. Just want to say, you could say that. Whoever made that, when people are waiting to target the streamer, they still bodied me. They still bodied me. Whoever made double jump, I feel like double jump's amazing. I feel like it changed the game, and I enjoy it. Some people think it's not as skilled, but I feel like there's always different levels of everybody's stumbleguys ability. So new players can have this, double jump advantage to help them become, better stumblers and be able to do what some things people can't do or can do without double jump.
Yeah, in the end, and that's also why double jump is one of the abilities with the most cooldown, right? Because it's very powerful. It can literally save you in certain occasions, but it shouldn't be a dominant strategy on how you play the game, right? You shouldn't be able to jump over all the block dash waves just by using it. So if you can save yourself once every so often just because you have it, it's an amazing tool, but it's not something you can rely always to beat the map, right? Which I think it's the type of balancing and the type of state we want the abilities to be in.
Yeah, guys, remember every custom party that we play, !win in the chat, you will get 1,000 ability tokens. So you use these ability tokens to level up your abilities in stumbleguys. So we're giving out as many as we can today to every winner of the custom party. There have been some in-chat giveaways for ability tokens as well, and we're doing our best. And we're rating some abilities in the chat right now, so you guys can just rate your favorite abilities if you're no longer in the game until you're waiting for the next game. And there's a big prize at the end. It will be keys and abilities. The next custom party will not have abilities. And then we're going to play some of Rush Hour coming up next. We'll have one more round of Block Dash to finish out the series through all the servers, and then we're going to go over and play some Rush Hour.
I can tell you there are a lot of waves that didn't make it through Rush Hour. So when we were creating the map, there were a lot that were very, very hard. And they never saw the light until we went into creating the legendary version, where some of them got there. But believe me, there were some nasty combinations that we created, and we thought we players would not
So
appreciate the complexity it got into.
So I think, but see, but with that being a retrospect is, I think, is that the abilities change the way the game is played. So if certain things are harder as you get down towards the end, if it's in the later version, I think it ends up being fine personally, because now if you're making it to the very end, having abilities could be a cool asset to help you get past these things that you can't get past. So I know it's not a game that leans on abilities, but being the fact that you can get abilities at no charge, completely free to play, eventually you will always have them just from playing Stumble Guys. So I think we're gonna see a new version of Laser Tracer. What's better than Legendary? Are we gonna see Rush Hour? Sorry, were we gonna see Rush Hour Platinum?
Well, we don't know. We don't know just yet.
If there's all these new
Uh,
cool
we'll
waves
see.
that we haven't seen, that means there could be Rush Hour Platinum, everyone.
There's a lot of versions for a lot of the maps. So when we're creating the maps, obviously we play and check the balance state of it, and what gets released might not even look how it first looked, right? And how it played. Um, so a lot of this work is in the shadows. It's something that will never see the light, or maybe in the future, it might get used. But again, it's part of the development cycle of any game, right?
Yeah, I know that's gotta
What we
hurt. I can only imagine working on something, so much, and you're like, wow, this is gonna be so good, and then it comes to not work out, and it never makes the game. Does that like affect on how you want to do it the next time, or how you make a different design? Because I could just imagine working so hard and designing something and not being able to see it come to fruition. I mean, I think that would make me pull my hair out.
Yeah, well, it's part of the job. I think you get used to it. Um, and honestly, most of the times you look back and just laugh over some crazy idea that you might have had that was just impossible to play for anyone besides yourself. And you kind of think, oh, I really went crazy with this one, right? Like, I wanted to ship this and I wanted to be this in the live version, but it would have been a nightmare.
Um, hmm. Another we talked about, I think we didn't talk about with abilities is like it's like certain abilities. I believe I'm not aware of this, but I thought I was aware of this, but when you go into abilities, certain emotes end up having like I call like their superpower. Like some of them have magnetism, some of them have slippery, how there was the thoughts, planned for certain which emotes were going to be able to have, a superpower, and which ones were going to be just like, regular without any extra, or will every emote always have its own extra superpower?
It kind of depends. So for example, for some of the abilities, we've removed that um, availability of having the next tier upgrade for the ability itself. And the reason being is that some abilities don't need them. Some abilities do, because in the end, when you're creating the variable versions of the upgrades, some are more useful than others, and giving that extra boost into making it into the best version you can um, might not be enough, right? So what we want is to make it so they have a reason to be upgraded. Um, and that's basically the reasoning behind it. Some of them need them more than others. Just for example, if we just kept on improving the punch, just having super for increasing the force, it's enough, right? But for example, for kick, we didn't want kick to hit as hard, so we decided to add the slippery ability, which gives a boost into using it, but it does not necessarily make it overpowered. So being able to add that different condition to the ability when you make it into max range is enough to make it feel like a progression without requiring just to increase the stats of the variable itself.
I do hear a lot of people in chat saying that Chop is awesome, and I honestly feel like Chop is awesome. But everybody says Chop is always the one to not get a buff. So I don't know. Everybody feels like I feel like Chop is always like. Finally, I feel like we got a push where it reacts different as all the other emotes. But everybody always I always see this and they typed it in chat, and then I always see people saying like it didn't get a buff. Like it should be stronger. It should be stronger. We always hear that about Chop. It should be stronger. So do you think that it's balanced? Do you think it needs to be stronger? How often what are your thoughts on the Chop? Because I love its gameplay now, but like back previously before this balance update, it was a lot harder to make contact, but I feel like when you made contact, you were rewarded tremendously. Now I kind of feel like it seems to be easier to use, but doesn't seem to hit as hard. But when you're trying to make all the abilities play well and all be different, there's certain emotes that are gonna or abilities that are gonna be better than others, and that's just the way it is. That's just certain things are designed to do certain things, and that's why you have 4 ability slots for you to use multiple, and maybe that's just the way it is. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, well, for Chop specifically, because we changed how it behaves and how it's upgraded, we're still on the lookout and waiting for the feedback and seeing how it actually performs through analytics and seeing honestly if it's very overpowered, community feedback, because we want to be careful of when we touch abilities. We know players grind a lot in order to improve them, and having an ability that is very powerful removed for you feels like you're losing out of a bit of the grind. But what we're hoping is not to nerf anything, it's just to make everything equal, right? And sometimes that requires a bit of punishing for something that uh, is very powerful, and sometimes it requires a buff for things that are not enough. So we're trying to find that state, and with Chop, we thought that just changing how it behaved might be good enough. We're still giving time for players to obviously try out new ways and explore how inside of the different maps it might be more useful than in others, and we're just waiting for that, right? So once
Totally.
we get it, we'll keep striving into creating the best version we can.
And I think that all that information is there, and I feel like I said, you said earlier, and you hyped on this before, and you said that you're always listening to the community, and you know and if you guys want changes, you voice your opinion, and then you will get the changes that you want. So I feel like there's not every other game that will allow to make requests and right away they're put into fruition. I feel like we said things about emotes need to be balanced, and like I wasn't even expecting it. I felt like it came out of nowhere. Like, oh my god, there it is. The emotes are changed. Stumble guys is like totally different now, just like that, that quick. So I think it happens pretty quick, and if people stay on it, I think it'll only get better. So
Yeah, that's honestly one example of how we're looking into the community and how the feedback is giving into us. So, for example, our community team sent us and shared a detailed notes on the feedback that we were receiving by content creators. I know a lot of them created a retro of Stumble Guys in 2024, and we look into that feedback because we care about the game, right? And we want to make it more often. And honestly, the number one topic in most of the videos was how now, because abilities are everywhere, having them being so powerful as they were before is just not that much fun. So, because they're much more accessible and we see them everywhere, we need them to be in a better state so that we don't have to remove how that they're there. We still want them to be there. We want players to have them, earn them, and grind towards it. But we don't want that old feeling that was just very, very powerful. And one of the main reasons to get a battle pass, right, was just I need this powerful ability that is just gonna make me win games.
mhm.
Because honestly, and this might be a bit personal, I prefer it when I get hit by an ability and I actually survive. I feel like either I'm the luckiest person in the world or I'm just I'm just better, which is
I'm
normally
telling
not the
you.
case.
And you know what? I think the only feeling that tops that, I feel like, is when like I somehow get punched and I'm like flying off the map and like somehow land on the edge and save myself. I'm like, no way that just happened. Like I cheated death, I feel like.
Yeah, I think, and for example, I think it's one of the things that you get in race maps, or for example in Block Dash, which I think make it really fun. Like probably at the beginning, when Block Dash was introduced, nobody used the spikes in order to get over an obstacle, but the players learned, they found the tricks, they found how to play, and it's one of the most fun parts about playing Block Dash is knowing those tricks and being able to use them in order to win, right? I think it's just how the game develops, because it's a live game. Obviously, you can never recover the experience it once was, and we shouldn't strive into recreating the same experience just because the game changes so often. But we can always look to do better, and that's what we aim to do. And even though it might not be the same, we're still trying to find the best way to make it fun, right?
Yeah,
might not
totally.
play
And I
exactly the
know a
same
lot of
thing.
people always say like, you know, they wish they could have old Stumble Guys back with, you know, with the taunts and things like that. But I feel like if the game stays like that, then I feel like the game could become stale. So there's changes to the game, and I feel like it's changes for the long run. I feel like if you were to stay in the one state that was working, then the game will never grow. And that's what I like. I like being able to open the game and be like surprised on what's new. Like when they said like, you know, emote, I'm like, a balance changes went out, new update. I want to be excited about the update. You know, I want there to be a new map, a new emote, a new pass. You know, I want them to be always new. So I feel like if Stumble Guys goes back to the way it was, it's never gonna grow. And I feel like for the game to grow, you always have to change it. So that becomes, to me, that's, you know, yeah, you might like the older way, but the new way has potential to be better.
Yeah, that's for example, that's one of the best examples we've had on how the taunt used to behave, right?
Yeah.
Like it was really good for certain occasions, like in Block Dash, it made sense, right? That ability to overcome being stumbled, but we had this issue where it made Bot Vash unplayable because the timer would always go to time, because if you were gonna get hit by the jet and you use the taunt animation, you would always survive. You wouldn't get pushed. So again, it's the looking at the bigger picture of the game of maybe fixing something breaks another, so what comes standing. And in the end, taunt was breaking a lot of things, and there were a lot of tricks that were just not how we intended the game to play out, and that's why we changed it. It wasn't a personal take on taunt, and it wasn't to remove the ability to overcome being punched. Because, for example, we had that ability, and we still want it in the game, and that's why we created the shield. That's why we created the dispel ability, because we wanted to be able to play against it. It's just the way it was being used was abusive at times, and I know a lot of the community might not see it always, but when we're looking at the game, we're looking at all the tiers, right? I think when you start in the game, just being able to complete a map is your main priority. But then you start playing and getting better, and now the rounds last forever. Or you find this exploit that just makes it really easy to play. And I think easy is good when you're learning the game, but if in the later stages of a game you are just playing by repetition and you can use just one thing or one idea to always win, then you're not having that much fun, and it doesn't feel fresh, right? And you'll eventually grow tired of it.
Yeah.
You master it at first, you're really good, you start winning your games, but then it's like, oh, I'm always losing. I'm always playing the same. I'm repeating over and over and over, and it's like an endless cycle. And we want that. We want it to be fresh. We want it to react to other players. We want it to be not a dominant strategy. Again, with all the abilities, what we're trying to do is just to not have one ability to rule them all. We want everything to play out. We want players to be able to play how they want. So, for example, the new Snowball. I don't know if you've tried it, but now the new Snowball slows you down a lot. Right?
I feel like it's well, to me, what we have on my live stream is we always play like we play Rush Hour and we play Throwables Rush Hour. So we always do, it's usually like briefcase, banana, Snowball. And like everybody's like, you never really see people use Snowball. We're gonna play it a little bit once this next coming round. We're gonna bring some Rush Hour, games. We'll do teams and then we'll do legendary, I think, for the second one, and you'll see what I mean. But like the buff from Snowball was like pretty cool because I feel like people had it and they're like, I don't want Snowball. I don't want to spend my ability keys on it. And now when you watch its gameplay, you're like, okay, I see now the clear advantage. And you just
and
made
again,
the
for example,
emote more, required or more beneficial to have. I feel like that's one that was always looked over.
and again, it's for example, it's an ability that is meant for race maps specifically, right? Like there's other editions like Rush Hour where going slower and doing the long jumps, being slow is gonna make you probably not be able to land the mark. But we want there to be an emote for every case, right? We want an ability for each. So that also being changing the abilities that you have set when you're playing inside a custom party, for example, and just choosing your loadout makes sense, right? We don't want it to be always, oh, I'm gonna play elimination maps. Well, I'm gonna change the emotes I'm using. I'm gonna just place race maps. I'm gonna use the emotes that are good for race. And we want it to be that, right? That kind of experience where you're using to the advantage all the emotes you have and not just require 4 of them that are dominant.
I got a question. Would you guys ever make like presets? Like, cause it's like sometimes like I feel like there's always like a thing I forget. Like even as a streamer, if I'm in chat or even if I'm just playing and I've switched game modes or I'm playing ranked, would there ever be presets? Because like if I want to play race, I want like banana, I want ball, I want like whatever I would use the most for race. I mean, when you get to the end and you can just literally throw a snowball and slow somebody down and steal the win. It's just I feel like the loadout I would use for race is much different than the loadout I would use for elimination. So would you ever think of adding preset loadouts? Maybe something that you find your common ground of what you like using. That way, like if the map changes, you could easily just switch to a different loadout. I feel like that would be something pretty cool.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a good idea. I think it's something we might consider in the future to develop. But yeah, maybe we can look into it in the future because it sounds good, right? But again,
yeah, we never
right
know
now
how
we
it
have
could
the option
impact the
to do it.
game. But I know the feeling like when you load into a map and you're like, uh-oh, I forgot to turn on this emote or something, or you ran out of time for the lobby loaded before you switched. You're just like, oh, I'm playing at a disadvantage here. So I think a quick loadout would be pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. It's something, again, maybe in the future we can take a look at and address it. And if it's, again, one thing that we see in the community feedback that is very potent, we will invest on it, right?
Yeah,
Because we
totally.
have the resources we have, and working on something might mean we're not working on another. So we always have to balance what will have the best impact on the game. Obviously, we know all these changes are for best, but we consider what has the best impact and what's needed more at the given times, right? And those priorities shift. And even though, and I tell you, the idea is good, it might take a longer time to develop just because we need other issues to address first, right?
Totally. Oh man, there was so many things we talked about today. I mean, there was so many things that were amazing. So we're gonna get into a few more custom parties. We're getting close to the end of the stream. I'm sure we're taking so much time away from Kirex. And how can we expect the game to be better if we don't allow him to work on the game? So we've had him, we've kidnapped him for so long. I don't know if he's definitely he must have things to do. It's definitely super busy. We're gonna go back to North America. US server, North America US server. We're going to switch one more time and we're going to go through and play some Rush Hour Legendary. It was the first map that Kirex worked on. Definitely a favorite map that I always have. I usually play it on my stream. We play a round of teams. That way, if any forgiven thing happens, your teammate could possibly bring you back. The only thing we hope for in Rush Hour teams is more orbs. Holy moly. I feel like the orbs are just like so like like you definitely want more of them in this map because you can't always go for it. Like you may want to like go for the orb to bring your teammate back as fast as possible, but sometimes it's just it's not safe if you do. So it's always the decision to
Yeah.
make. How do you know, like, since you created teams, how do you figure, like, where we're going to put the orbs, how many orbs come back, how long they disappear? Like, how is balancing that? That must have been pretty insane.
So it was tough. Like for example, we had an idea at first of, hey, maybe we could add the orb to move with the actual vehicle, right? So it sticks on and you can always get it. But then, for example, in maps like Laser Tracer, it was more of, okay, how do we make it avoid lasers? And in the end, the logic we followed was, if you're able to get it, it must be for a reason, right? So if you can get an orb in laser tracer, that means there's not a laser unless you just killed yourself while trying to get it. So it's more of the strategy and planning towards being able to get it once you're inside the game, and it's simply that. If
How are
you're
you,
able to
Gav?
get it, it must be safe to get it.
Everybody, once again, if you just joined or happen to join late, I know it's coming up on a new time in the US server. So in the United States, we're talking with Kirex. He's a game designer of Stumbleguys. If you have any questions, you can drop them in chat. We've been picking his brain. We've been offering suggestions. He's been telling us his thoughts on how he managed to balance all the abilities in Stumbleguys. And then we do have to make a quick tier, so I want to pull that down really quickly here, and we can see exactly how we're going to plan out some tiers. I want you to pick an emote, and I'll pick an emote, and we'll balance them really quickly, and we can see what we come up with, meaning you in the community have been voting like crazy in the chat, so we'll see that really quick too. I think I'm going to go first, and if like I said, if I had to pick an ability, and I'm only going to play with one, it's probably one of the first ones I ever had, so I'm going to go with Punch being my S tier, and then we'll get your opinion on one of you pick an emote and place it in a tier.
I think I will try to use one that might not get seen as often, but I think honestly, well, I already said chop at the very beginning of the stream, which I think is one of the most fun. Um, but honestly, I really like both the dispel ability. I think it's really good to eliminate objects, and I also like a lot the sticky bomb.
Ooh, sticky bomb. And where would you rate the sticky bomb of the two? I feel like that one is like that one's not really as I don't really see people flock to use that one as much. But like I feel like that one's great for race. I feel like that would definitely be in my race loadout. And what would you give that for a tier rating? The sticky bomb.
I think I would put it in A, to be honest. I don't think I think it's in a good state, right? Like in the
Yeah.
end, what we're always aiming to do is to have all the abilities in the same category, right? It's the complete aim of it.
Yeah.
And I think it's in a good spot, especially like it's a slowdown in the area, so you can make a path less attractive. You shoot it forward, and we also made it so the homing ability is always enabled. So now you don't have to get it to level max in order for it to attach into a player. You just get it by default, and I think it makes the ability really fun because you get stuck in a wide area, and it's easier to hit than the snowball, and I think that's why I like it.
Thank you guys so much for just being active in the chat. I'm trying to reach out as much as possible. Be kind, nice, add you. I will try to add as many people as I can towards the end of the stream. I'll make a custom party and try to add as many people as I can. And we'll do that as soon as coming up shortly. We're going to get into another lobby. And after this game, he says, Kyrex, we need block dash easy for new players. I mean, if it's balanced and no abilities, it's pretty easy. Sticky Bomb is not an A. You don't agree? I feel like Sticky Bomb's pretty balanced. I mean, you also got to remember like certain emotes are targeted towards race and certain emotes are targeted towards elimination. But remember, when you only have 4, sometimes, you know, you're coming up. We are probably going to play about 4 more custom parties and then we'll have the biggest prize, and that should get us right to the end of the stream. So about 4 more custom parties. Still 3 more because I think we're doing this one on US. Then we'll do 1 more on Asia, and then we'll do the final custom party on EU. It's like right in the middle, so hopefully it'll be best for everyone. So I'm gonna pick 1 more, another one of my favorites. I'm gonna go with Super Jump. I think this is Double Jump. I think that's an S tier emote because it is really awesome and easy to use, good for new players. Veterans might not like it so much, but I think it's a great emote to use as well.
It's like a good one. I want to stay away from the classics. I
The
know
classic
everyone will be
obvious ones,
expecting
yeah.
me to go for a classic, but I'm honestly gonna go with one that doesn't get told a lot, and that's the briefcase.
Oh,
The
man.
briefcase has one of the most powerful end game upgrades that there is in the game, which is the no ability to use any abilities for 10 seconds.
I actually have a max briefcase maxed out because I'm telling you, when the ability to pretty much shut down people's emo, I thought was really awesome. I think it's definitely an A tier. I don't know what you're gonna put it as, but I feel like that
Yeah, I was
unlocked
gonna
its
put it in A.
superpower, and that's the buff it needed, to be honest. So
Yeah, I think I'm gonna put it either in A, or I don't know what the neutral state of balancing we should be aiming for. I think a B might be
yeah,
better, or an A.
yeah, okay,
I think we could put it in either.
yeah.
You know, and
I definitely like it. I think I'm gonna go towards an A. I think a B would be like normal, and then S being, I guess, the best, and then like C probably meaning the worst, and B is like sort of average. So that's what I'm getting at. All right, we're gonna play this custom party, then we'll go back to some more ability rankings right after this game. We're gonna play Rush Hour teams and Rush Hour Legendary. Remember, if you win the custom party, we're gonna give you 1,000 ability tokens, and if you use the word !prize, there'll be a big prize at the end with some keys and gems. So type !prize in the chat as well. I think the next one I'm gonna go with is, I feel like I'm on the verge of trying to figure out what ability to max out next. I feel like, every stumble pass I try to max out one ability, and I've overwhelmed my community. Like, I knew like the first 4 right away. I'm like, I'm going for these. Either it was because they were really good for ranked or really good for elim. I was like, I knew what I wanted to do. And like now I've done almost all the ones I use the most, and I just don't know what to do next. So I think it's down to the top 2 of me picking would be either the Rake, which everyone seems to be voting for, or I think I have an option for Bolt I haven't maxed out yet. So, but then again, I haven't maxed out Snowball, and with the new buff on Snowball could be a variable that I could easily use. So
I think I read earlier, actually, community asking me what my favorite skin is, and my favorite skin is Anubis. That's the one I've liked the most forever. I'm a super nerd of Egyptian mythology.
hey, that's one of my favorite skins. That was really one of the earlier skins I got in the game too. That was actually a really good skin.
I actually carry around me in my wallet one of the trade cards that we made, the collection for Stumbleguys. If you guys have seen it, at least in Spain, they're very, very popular by Panini. And I have my own Anubis one inside the wallet, and I carry it with me.
That's so cool.
I'm very lucky of the teammate I got, because I think I died like 3 times.
I think I saved my teammate by avoiding everything. And I was hopefully be the one that I thought I was going to be the one getting the saving.
I think it's the main reason I'm not a streamer. I'm not able to read the chat and play.
Please, I'm begging 1,000 gems. We haven't been giving out any gems today, so you must be new. Spectate Myth? Sure, once I die, I will spectate Myth. Okay, will do. Can you bring back the strawberry? What? Meaning strawberry skin, maybe?
Maybe. Sadly, I don't get to make those calls. I'm afraid.
Fortunately, I forgot to put on my abilities, but I will get them on for the next one. How are you, CJ, JG Gaming? No, I just got double briefcase. What is? Oh my God! They sent the TNT off. Oh my God, that is crazy. That's crazy, crazy. In the next update, workshop have new toys. Unfortunately, I don't know. I'm not sure if we're at liberty to say.
I am not.
But we would hope
It's
so.
not
We
something
would hope so.
I cannot confirm nor deny.
We
I'm not
cannot
allowed to say
confirm
anything.
or deny.
I'm sorry, guys.
But we hear your
I think
requests.
that's another reason to not be a streamer, because I would just leak everything and just get fired probably. Like if I'm allowed to just run my mouth, it'll eventually slip.
So, what's your favorite piece of Rush Hour? What's your favorite piece? On this new legendary, I actually love the teeter totter. I love the fact that it shakes and disappears when you're on it. It was like a really good addition, right when you thought you would.
I think the favorite one I designed was the platform that has the laser moving horizontally.
Oh.
Because at first he covered all the area and it was really a matter of timing, and sometimes you just had to miss. But then we added the side, so you can always jump on the side if you're skillful enough and avoid the laser, which is like in that balance of, okay, it requires skill if you don't want to depend on luck, right? So I think that's one of the best thought out pieces we got made.
All right, guys, the second to the last custom party is happening. We're going over to Asia. Be sure to update your server region Asia. Here we go. And we're going to play another one of the same thing. I enjoyed it. Rush Hour Teams and Rush Hour Legendary. And I think there's 3 versions of it. Yeah, here we go. We did Rush Hour Teams and Rush Hour Legendary. And then there's the Endless version. Okay, yeah. Endless just guarantees there's a winner. But I feel like when you do Legendary second, there's going to be a winner. I feel like when we played the original Rush Hour, you always like, it was a good possibility that, you know, things would go to time. And Ash, just type your stumble name in the chat and I'll try to see if I can add you from the party as long as you get into the party. All right, I'm going to do one more invite. We're up to our second to last party. Anash, congratulations. You're being active in chat and you won the last giveaway. Here we go. Let's get Kirex into the party.
I'm joining.
All right. And here's our code. And then I'm going to rate the rank. I'm going to rate the new rake ability. I'm really at a loss. I'm not sure what it's going to be. If I'm going to either max out Snowball or rake. So I'm actually going to update my emotes. But I was a fan of Briefcase. I did Briefcase already. I'm like, no, Briefcase is amazing. What are your thoughts on Shutdown? I feel like it's not used as much as people hope. So I do feel like in the custom parties that I'm playing with, Shutdown is hardly used.
I think that's the ability I mentioned, the dispel, or we call it.
Yeah, okay. Dispel.
I think it's good, right? Like
yeah.
it's so tactical to use that it's not that effective always, and you have to be very reactive. But just being able to cancel another player, whatever they're doing, like cancel a ball, state, or whatever, it just feels very rewarding just to remove the ability of another person, right?
Oh man, I feel like it's like sometimes I feel like it's my safety blanket. Like when everybody's gonna attack just you in the lobby, just being able to use that is pretty remarkable, I think. Anash, did you join the custom party? What's your stumble name? I thought I asked for your stumble name so I can add you. And we're doing giveaways in the chat all the time. If you win the lobby, you receive 1,000 ability tokens. And also remember, that at the end there'll be, for our next break winner, there'll be a exclamation mark prize where you'll get keys and a large amount of tokens. So just exclamation mark prize, that'll be the last final custom party, and you'll get a load of keys and ability tokens for you to hopefully pick up a new ability in Stumbleguys and ability to max it out. What are your thoughts on the Bolt ability, Kirex?
I think it's in a better state than it used to be, right?
Yeah, I know some
I think
people
the
were like
problem with
completely like wanted to be away from it, like, oh, turn it off right away. That was one that they said, turn that off, don't ever turn that on. And I'm like, don't ever turn it on. It can't be that bad. But I remember like playing like the in-game tournament and loading into block dash and like the fit spawning in and getting hit by lightning and shot off the map. I was like, what just happened? I don't even know how I died.
Yeah, I think the magnetism on it's pretty fun. The power of it is very high, but it also comes at a cost that you're kind of rooted in place, right? It's a bit of a strange one because you have a bit more mobility than you do, for example, with the sword. Um, but it's a bit less powerful, right? And again, it's more situational rather than just constant use of it.
Oh, you mentioned the big word sword, and I'm like, man, sword has like, I feel like sword has a mega power now.
I feel like sword is in a state where it should have been, right? I think we
Yeah.
were missing the mark of the again an example of things not working. Community reported it to us. We took care of it and we fixed it. I think in the best way possible. Um, and I think that it works now, right? In the end, we want it to be used in maps that have very small areas of play. So, for example, if you're playing on lava land, sword becomes really powerful, right? But if you're playing maps with more open area, it might be harder to land, so it doesn't feel as effective. So, again, it has its pros and cons, and there's places where it's better to use it and places where it's not, right? So it's up to you to make the choice and make the decision of when to play it.
I love with briefcase in the area. I feel like you kind of can almost put it places, and like the radius is just, it like kind of changes the direction of where you might have want to go. What a banana toss! No way, they both saved it. Oh, the slipperiness got that guy.
I think Gav was my partner and I just died instead of saving him.
No.
I'm sorry, my friend.
Your name is Smart Plus Dude. Well, you must be a smart dude. Unfortunately, we not be. Sorry, Kyrex. I'm so sorry. Gev says in the chat.
No worries.
You're fine,
mean-
Luffy. You're fine. I hopefully
on
you were on
the-
my team and I brought you back, and now you're in this finals and you'll get yourself a win because I'm not going to win. I want to give you guys the ability tokens. I have my own ability tokens. And when they have those wheels in the game, ooh, Alec, I think you might have just taken that shot from me. No! I don't want to talk about it. I just slipped off.
Happens to the best of us.
I swear, sometimes every time I go to throw a snowball, I feel like, am I getting a little slippery too? I always seem to slide a little bit extra, but it could just be the movement of the cart. I mean, what was the thoughts? I might know this might not be anything to do with you, but this map became like super colorful. Like it was like really traditional, this map. And then all of a sudden when you load it in, you were like, what happened to Rush Hour? It was like a wake-up call. It was like such basic carts, and then it became like so colorful, different sizes. Like you know, different items. It was like, I feel like when you loaded into this map, it was not, people thought it was going to be not like the rush hour you were used to.
Yeah, I think in the end, we try and improve the game in all the areas, right? And obviously, how it looks is another one. Recently, we created a big change into all the aesthetics of the game, and honestly, we were going for a more playful and soft and rounded design. We think benefited and suited more of the Stumble Guys kind of feeling, right? In terms of skins and the general aesthetic of the game. We thought it was a change for the better. And honestly, I think it's much easier to see, for example, the platforms as well. Bear in mind that we consider a lot of disabilities that our player base might have into the ability to recognize patterns, also see colors. We have such a big amount of players that we need to make it accessible in the best way for everyone to enjoy. So some of these changes are based on that, but I can tell you 100% this one was just to match more of the aesthetic of the game that we're striving to achieve overall.
All right, we're going to come on to our very last custom party. You will get 50 ability keys and 10,000 ability tokens. I hope you guys had an amazing time with me today. Thank you so much to Kirex for spending his time. As always, super busy making the game amazing, but he took some time out of his day to talk to the community, hear your messages, and see what your thoughts are. And we got to ask some grueling questions, and we got some inside scoops. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to tell us everything, but you never know what to expect from a game that's always being updated. So be sure to comment in Discord, Reddit, or all your social medias so that you know if you want something to change in the game, he's there and he hears you, he reads them, they discuss it, and he tries to implement everything he can. So we appreciate him and thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure, honestly. This is my first time in a stream, so I hope it wasn't that bad.
I feel like it was amazing, chat. Everybody, can I get what they call W's in chat for Kirex? I mean, we had an amazing time. He played well. He's an amazing stumbler as well. And the last server region is going to be on server region EU. We're going to do 3 rounds. We have to talk about the floor is lava because that's what we've been pushing. It's a new map in the game and it's all over the events. It's all in the main game. So we're going to play floor is lava, and then Lava Land Legendary has been a new map as well. And we enjoy that map. It's a elimination based map. So we'll do that as round number 2 of Lava Land Legendary. And then for the final round, we'll do everybody's favorite and we'll do Block Dash Classic. So we don't want to put too many emotes because we want to make it playable for everybody to give everybody a chance to win. So I think Kirex says that he loves Chop. So I'm thinking we do Chop.
I think it's one of the fun ones.
And then I think we probably, I don't want this thing to go time because I want there to be a definite winner. So I'm thinking, what we thinking we should pick one more emote, your choice?
Ooh. Honestly, let's go for a hug. Because I feel we could get some fun ones with hug. If we get players eliminating both of themselves.
Okay.
At the very last stages. I think that will be fun.
All right, we have hug and we have chop. I remember, like, aren't those the 4 core emotes of the game? Punch, kick, hug,
and the banana.
And the banana. Yes. So those are our 4 best emotes. So
first ones.
Here we go. I'm gonna get Kirex into the custom party, and then we're gonna show the code, and we'll be able to. Hopefully within 24 to 48 hours, everybody will get their ability tokens within 48 hours. I'm gonna get Kirex into the lobby, and this is gonna be for the big prize of 50 keys and 10,000 tokens. All right, Kirex is in the lobby, and we will load in right now, and the code will appear on screen. Good luck, everyone. There's our final custom party on the screen. There it is. As you see, the chat giveaways were run and they received their ability tokens right away. And if you want custom parties, I'll submit all your information with all the screenshots, and custom parties will get them all the time. There's are the emotes. They've been changed. They've been balanced. Hopefully we'll see how well they're balanced out. Hold yourself, prepare yourself. Try not to get hugged. Good luck, everyone. All right, Kirex, do you think you make it past the first round?
Oof. I think getting hugged in floorislava might have very, very bad consequences. And
I am
I
not
feel
the
like we get
best.
targeted often.
Yeah, I'm not the best at floorislava, so I know there's no way. I usually rush and find an available spot. Zilla, it's you again? No. Zilla, let's be friends. Let's talk about this. Ooh. Ooh, somebody put that down. All right, I think we can just hang out here and I think we're good. There's a platform for us underneath to make sure we don't fall. Work together, Zilla. Work together. I'll drop that about anybody who's trying to come up. Oh, yeah. No, no. I don't have I need a better jump. Oh. Let's put that there. Oh, I'm getting buried in a little bit. Working my way. Whew. All right, Zilla, now what do we do? Uh-oh. I'm doing whatever you tell me to. Nope. Couch. Uh-oh. I swear, sometimes couch is great and sometimes couch is a disaster. No! I caught a spike! 9 out of 16. You guys so good at this.
No. Oh, I died. Terribly.
14 out of 16, please! Oh, there's no way. I'm so close. No. I can't even see where I am. Oh, I'm completely buried. I'm just gonna stay here and pray somebody dies. I'm at 17 height. Please! The lava's coming! Phew. Oh, they got me buried. They have me buried. Oh, come on, somebody! Ooh, sorry to do this to you, but I had a bomb. And I'm out of here. All right, whoever decided to make that, no. Let's go! No way! Oh. I was just underneath the top layer. I almost made it through. All right, we got Doji, we got CR7. Oh, Zilla. I see people using that hug. Clutch GD. Oh. Gray Ray with the new coral skin. Nice. Omar. No, Clutch GD. Kalito is here. Mad Max. Always getting hugged. Oh. Any tips on what to do when you're hugged? What to do next?
with no pun intended, embrace it. just embrace it.
All right, this is the final round. Yes, guys, remember there's a new coral skin in the game. Support your creators. There's also a new wheel as well. Be sure if you cannot afford to buy the skin, you could spin the wheel and hopefully get a new skin and 150 gems with one spin. So maybe before we leave, we'll do a spin and see if I can get the new skin. So remember, there's a wheel in the game. So if you don't have the funds to buy it, you could spin a wheel and hopefully get it for some gems. Ooh, Max with a good hug on Smokey. The winner of this game is going to get 50 keys and 10,000 ability tokens. Nicholas, you can't join. I apologize for not being able to join. This is our last custom party. We've been live for a fair amount of time. I'm scared to see. Yeah, live for about 2 hours. Is it hug and karate chop only? Yes, it is, Fear. That was the last custom party. Some guys wrote live for 2 hours. Man, I do 3 without even thinking about it. 2 hours is light work. This is when the magic happens after 2 hours. You should have joined sooner. I'm sorry, Fear. Yeah, we've been live for about 2 hours. We've been here with Kirex, the game designer. He's been telling us all tips and how he managed to balance it, which maps he worked on. We had an amazing day. We rated some of the tiers. We gave out a bunch of ability tokens for everybody to gain their abilities to make them a little bit stronger. We talked about how you can play the new map Floorislava, which I believe he said he designed that map. So...
No, sadly I didn't.
No, okay.
I didn't. I know exactly who it was, and it's a very talented designer we have over at the studio, but it wasn't one of mine.
So Rush Hour, and you said Stumbleguys too?
I have a lot of maps, to be honest.
Oh man.
So
I know you mentioned those too.
All of the team ones.
The team maps. Oh yeah, oh my god. You're a blessing.
Rush Hour, Crab's Landing. I did Skyrocket Royale. I did the Rocket Doom one.
Oh, Rocket Doom. We didn't get a chance to play. Yep, that was definitely a good one.
I also did the Bucket Mayhem.
No way.
One.
Okay.
Yeah. And designed half of the abilities that we have in the game.
Nice.
I think, more or less.
That must be a challenging feat in its own.
Yeah.
Because I feel like everybody's like, we need a new emote. We got to come up with a new emote. And I'm like, guys, there's so many emotes. I played this game when there was only 4. Like, there are so many now. We don't really need, I can't believe we always need more, but you always come up with something impressive. So I feel like the hat is going to be really welcomed.
The hard part is to actually make them unique, right? Because you can always create new variations of the same thing, but they lack that kind of identity that you want it to have, right?
Yeah, you don't want it to be like a skin. You don't want it to be like Punch and Fire Punch, where it just was, just look different. You want it to actually play different.
Yeah, and sometimes there's a limit to how much you can do, right? Like how much force is applied. Okay, how hard do I hit you? How often? The distance, and you can play around those, but to actually get the ability to have really a value of its own and an identity, it's harder to do. And honestly, if abilities didn't have an identity, I think they wouldn't be nice, because you wouldn't be able to enjoy them as much.
All right, congratulations to the Dodgy. Congratulations. Smokey, you almost had that. That was some great gameplay towards the end. I think just a little touch too aggressive right at the end. So congratulations. You were the exclamation mark prize winner, Doji. Congratulations. You'll be getting, I believe it's 50 keys and 10,000 ability tokens. So thank you so much for playing. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. Thank you, Kirex, for spending his time and, you know, giving us all our cool new insights about the game and his maps and the abilities that he works on. We gave out a bunch of ability tokens to everybody in the chat. I appreciate everybody so much. And hopefully, if you want me live on the Stumbleguys main page, just be sure to comment down below, like the stream, and comment that, you know, you want to see Step. And if you wouldn't mind, use creator code MRSTEP, code Mr. Step in your shop. They appreciate me very much, and I'll see you guys soon.